Rookie Hunter is proudly brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation. If you'd like to support their mission to put and keep wild sheep on the mountain, you can go to wildsheepfoundation.org to become a member, renew your membership, or become a lifetime member. You can even get yourself some badass WSF merch. All of that can be found at wildsheepfoundation.org. And while you're there, check out Sheep Fever, the official podcast of the Wild Sheep Foundation. Rookie Hunter continues to stay connected with Zoleo. If you're in the market for a new satellite communicator, go to Zoleo.com, that's Zoleo.com, and get yourself a satellite communicator you can rely on. And of course, we're partnered with our friends at North Arm Knives. The season will be here before you know it, so head over to northarmknives.com and get yourself a blade. Hey guys, welcome to episode 179. It's been a while. We actually recorded this probably about a month ago. And I'm finally just getting to it now. Things have been pretty hectic and crazy, but in a good way. But this is a fishing episode. Kelly and I did some fly fishing a while back here. And that was a first for me. I enjoyed it. I want to learn more. I want to keep improving my skills. It's challenging for sure. So yeah, I enjoyed it, but you're going to hear all about it. And it's been long enough, so sit back, relax, crack a nice cold beer. Enjoy episode 179. What's up, man?
Just life, super busy. Yeah, weather, it's summer now. Hey, it's like the heat arrived. I can't remember if we've mentioned it, but the spring in the Okanagan has been amazing this year as far as, plants and moisture and everything's just super lush.
Yeah.
It can also get so hot here that just kind of evaporates pretty quick. So
this is like one of the greenest and like most like lush wildflowers, and like it's insane this year, man. It's wild, and like I think it's going to start drying out now. But even today, being June 12th today?
Yeah,
still like incredibly green, which is rare. Usually we get like that short green spring that you like. Oh, I just got to take this in and enjoy it, and then we get a hot streak, and then it's just like brown. Everything's just dry.
Yeah,
but
doesn't take long.
It keeps going, and man, this was like a month ago. I sent you and Garrett a video of a buck that already had some velvet poking up, and maybe I'm wrong, but it seemed early to me. And you said that you saw some around your place too already.
Yeah,
that were
seems like there's a lot of deer.
So we've said this before, but like I think it was Jesse who was telling us, or somebody, like when you get those good springs and lots of wildflowers and stuff like that, lots of water, that's what kind of ignites like good antler growth, which could mean more big bucks, more 4-point opportunities and stuff like that. So
yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Still the elusive 4-point that when did we start doing this?
Jesus, 2016, but we've been hunting for, is that what you mean? When we started doing the podcast?
Yeah, so anybody listening to this that hasn't started hunting, I'm in year 10 or more, and there's no 4-point in my garage. They're hard to come across. We have had some, we were pretty close last year, but
yeah, this is your year, Kelly. I was close from my second one, but we all know how that went.
Yeah, I think it'll be both of our years this year.
That'd be awesome.
It is a matter of time, right? Like putting time in, and with James, and he's getting old enough now where maybe he can start coming out, and pretty soon he'll be a youth hunter.
To come out. Yeah. What is it? 10?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we got a little ways to go yet, but
that's not that far away.
Soon.
Well, you don't want it to go that fast.
Yeah, you don't want to wish away 5 years.
No, but it's going to be sweet.
It's amazing how fast it goes by. But
Garrett, his plans has changed, but he was talking about applying for this group moose hunt with his son Jax, and I was pretty pumped about that. It would have been cool, but he's just found out he's got hockey commitments, which I mean, it's good for him.
Yeah, that's a heavy lift, sports, especially hockey. But I'm sure they'll get out in their area for sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's as somebody with no kids, I'm relying on your kids to enjoy that aspect of it, and I look forward to it, man. Getting out with James and with Garrett's kids and that at some point, because it's fun, man. When you get to pass it on.
Yeah, James is already talking about going out there and doing some target shooting and going hunting, and to me so far that means grouse and taking him out for that. So he keeps asking, I keep saying, well, we would go, but grouse opens up in September. I mean, we'll still go out for drives and stuff, obviously, but as far as actual hunting goes, that'll come relatively quick too, because we're already halfway through June.
Yeah, but can we snowshoe hare hunt right now?
Yeah.
I think there's only usually 2 months where you can't.
Yeah, and I think
be July, or maybe it's June 15th to. I can't remember. We should look though.
Yeah, I haven't really looked this year, but I do believe it's between the bear
starts in August,
and grouse is kind of where the hares start.
Yeah,
but and a few years ago when I went hunting in the Kootenays with Garrett and his family, my dad was there too. But Jax came out for the one night and slept in the wall tent, and we went out hunting the next day in the morning. Yeah. So Jax was in the truck there, and the only moose we saw the whole trip was Jax looking out the window, like literally as we're leaving camp. He's like, "There's a moose." I'm like, "No way!" This is like days into the trip, not seeing signs of anything. Right?
That's hilarious.
And then we look over, and there's this big cow standing there with with a calf beside her. So. It was just, little moments like that are kind of what you end up remembering for the whole trip.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But he was awesome. Pumped to be out there. And I believe he would have been around 8 at the time.
Probably, yeah.
But and then LEH closes today.
Today. We got what? A couple hours left here.
Yeah. So if you find out about that through this podcast, it's too late. We won't have this released today.
Yeah. Man, I almost forgot. I'm like, oh, Jesus, I looked at the calendar and like, I have to apply today. So I just paid for, because you can add your hunting party when you apply and just pay for them rather than sending the...
oh, I see.
Yeah.
Something as long as you have their hunter number, right?
Yeah, yeah. Just Kevin was leaving to go camping. I'm like, hey, man, send me your info, and then Valtteri sent me his, and like, I'm just going to do this so there's no delays.
Yeah.
So it's done.
Yeah. Good plan.
Yep.
So
I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Now the waiting game.
I thought it was like 2 to 3 weeks after the close.
It was pretty fast, faster than I expected last time.
Yeah. I mean, we used to be pretty keen about it, and we'd submit it like as soon as it opened, and then it makes the wait longer. It feels like.
Exactly. When you wait till the last day, it shortens
maybe there's good luck in waiting to the end. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I looked at the history of my LEH results, dating back. I don't know how far it goes back. I feel like it went back to like 2016 or something. There's like a whole pile of unsuccessful. It's just like unsuccessful right through pretty much. Other than I think I had the mule deer tag once or twice, and we had the one moose up north the one year.
Yeah,
but other than that, a whole lot of unsuccessful, and unsuccessful because like in most of those hunts, other than mule deer, there's no moose down.
Right.
So kind of unrealized opportunities.
Yeah, that wasn't our fault, that one.
No, but I do feel like it's our time. Like, so I got my toes crossed and my fingers crossed.
Yeah, man, I don't know. People have had luck with this certain tag. I've ran into people that have done well with it. So see what happens.
Yeah.
But remain optimistic. But yeah, I think it's our time.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I guess, have you got out for black bear at all?
Nope.
No, me neither. We might want to. And when does that end? I think it may be ending in 3 days.
Maybe on the 15th, maybe.
So I think we might have missed the boat on that one.
Yeah.
Which, that's sometimes what happens in the spring. But what we have been doing a bit is fly fishing.
Yes.
Which I'm happy to hear that you're interested in.
I love it. Yeah, man. It's I think what I like about it is that it's challenging and not in a way that like deters you from wanting to do it, in a way that like makes you want to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy. And like, so I mean, number one is like you got to learn how to cast. So you got to figure that out. And then once you figure that out, now you got to learn how to like, set up your rig, like, with the different lines and all that kind of stuff. And then what kind of fly do you want to use, and what tactic do you want to use? And so it's like, there's a lot of layers to it. Mm-hmm. And the cool thing is like, you can't really wrap your head around it until you start doing it. Like casting, for example, I was watching a bunch of videos, and like it's useful. And then I went to like a park near my place and started trying it. And like, okay, cool. Like I'm trying to apply what I watched in the video, but then you go back and watch the videos again. And you're like, okay. Then you start piecing it together and you're starting to figure it out. And then we went fishing after that. And then you start to, still, but like you get in the zone with it and it's going well. And then you start to shit the bed with it and you get mad, but like frustrated a little bit. And then you're dealing with, elements like wind and all that kind of stuff. And it's, there's a lot to it. But like I said, it's not aggravating in a way that makes you want to smash your rod in half. It's like I just want to figure this out. And, but much like hunting, I think it's something that you will just keep learning more and more about it.
Yeah, I think it's similar to hunting in a way too, because the barrier of entry feels big. Yeah. Like it can be intimidating. Like to hand somebody a spinning rod and say like, we're going to drag a forward fender behind this boat and see what happens. Like everybody
crack
can
a beer
do that
and just relax.
Yeah, exactly. But like when you think of fly fishing, it's kind of, even right from the gear, it maybe feels intimidating to folks. And you're also in like, so like where we live, it's a lot of stillwater fly fishing.
Yeah.
So like even within fly fishing, there's kind of like, it feels like there's two schools. There's like the stillwater fly fishing and the stream fly fishing.
Yeah. Which I would love to try some of that too.
Yeah, that would be awesome. We don't have a ton of stream fly fishing, I feel like, in the Okanagan, but I don't think we have to travel too far either to find it.
What about like Rock Creek or something like that?
Yeah, you can fish the Kettle, but it does have some specific restrictions and times around it. But it's actually a very good fishery.
That'd be cool. That's only a couple hours from here.
Yeah, totally. We should do that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's like one of the things I find somewhat intimidating about fly fishing is the fact that there is those two schools, and I've kind of focused a bit on concentrating on the stillwater side.
Right.
Just because we have such a we're spoiled on that front where we live, and then to think about the stream side, and it's not even really the technicalness of the casting, but the problems that arise through it, like the wind knots, the catching your fly on a tree, the not having enough room, the finding the perfect position, like all those things.
Well, especially with two of us on a boat.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, one guy's got a great spot. The other guy's fucking got the worst spot.
He's casting across his body, and
you like the one guy's got the wind to his advantage. The other guy's casting right into it or trying to flick it backwards.
That's where it'd be cool to have like a big 16-foot flat bottom. Like Brian Chan, our previous host, has. It actually, we should plug that right now. I think it was like episode 30 or 50 or somewhere in there where we had Brian on. I actually listened to it after our last lake trip there.
Maybe we should do a repost, unless it's cringy, because those are old episodes.
No, it's pretty good. I mean, most of it's just Brian talking, so you can't go wrong. But he's the stillwater fly fishing guru, and he talks about the life cycle of a lake and all the things that kind of
Cool.
go into that.
Yeah, Brian is known all over. Joe Cermelli, my friend that I work with and had on the show a while back there from New Jersey. He knows Brian and knows where he fishes. And yeah, he's people who fly fish know who he is.
Yeah. Yeah. So you and I went out to Salmon Lake near Merritt. Not
shout out
last
to
weekend.
to Wayne, your dad, and your father-in-law Randy for setting that up.
Yeah. So I think we mentioned we turned 40. So and we're pretty close birthdays. So like basically pulled the moose hunting party together, and they basically gifted us a fly fishing trip there. Which was awesome. And that lake's really cool. It's kind of like the perfect size. It's got a lot of food. It's got really cool environment around it.
Yeah.
And in the lake too, like there's lots of shoals and even some deep spots. A lot of muddy areas, a lot of weedy, like kind of everything you would think of in a lake like that. So it was kind of cool to go out there.
Yeah. How about we back up though? And like even just the drive in was amazing, man.
Yeah. It's really cool landscape when you get to Merritt.
Yeah. It reminded me of like, the old Windows 95 or whatever, the photo of like the grassy field and the blue skies. And like, that's kind of what you almost feel like you're in Montana when you drive into that lake.
That's right.
And it's a lot of it looks very untouched and it's cool, man.
Yeah.
It's very unique.
It
That's
is.
what I love about living in BC. We got everything here, man.
Yeah. Even like, the feel of lakes when you go, well, you spent a lot of time in the Caribou, like you kind of get that flat kind of lakes and then the surrounding area, right? But then you get into like Merritt and it's super dry. You go, to Kootenays and you get the steep kind of, I'm thinking of Duncan Lake where you got those steep waterfalls and treacherous roads going around them and stuff. But yeah, there's thousands of lakes here. It's cool to explore them. And that's
insane.
That's kind of why this last trip, I hadn't fly fished for a while. But this kind of like rekindled my like passion for it too. Is just, it's fun to figure out a lake and try to like, to kind of nail kind of where and what they're eating.
Yeah, for sure. Let's set the scene a little bit. Salmon Lake, it's like a resort. There's cabins, there's campsites, there's like a general store, boat launch. You can rent boats, motors, like it's got everything you need.
Yep.
But it's a small lake, which I guess is kind of ideal for fly fishing, in smaller lakes. But
perfect
across the lake, they have one yurt, and that's what Wayne and Randy got for us for 3 nights.
Yeah.
So we had you brought your boat with electric motor.
Yeah.
And we dropped the boat in, and you were going to go drive around the lake with your truck and trailer, and I drove across with my dog Earl, and Randy and Wayne were already there waiting for us. Like picturesque, like perfect day.
Oh yeah.
Couldn't have asked for a nicer day. But the cool thing is that when you rent the yurt, they actually have 2 boats there for you, and they're set up as rowboats, but your dad brought his electric motor too.
Yeah.
And so him and Randy were set up with that boat, which they didn't love.
They're like 12-foot John boats, but they're pretty skinny.
Yeah. Not the most comfortable to sit in for extended periods of time.
They do have a couple anchors in them and
they work
like oars and stuff. So,
but the yurt was, had everything we needed. Had like an outdoor shower, like inside of like it almost looked like an outhouse, like a cedar thing, and it had a gas stove and fireplace, which we ended up needing. We'll come back to that. And everything, man. The yurt was awesome. It was like, man, I kind of want to just buy a chunk of property somewhere and throw a yurt on it, because it's like, what else do you need? It's like having a wall tent, but way better.
Yeah.
One that's just set up all the time and ready to go.
Well, I took a picture of like, it was Pacific Yurts, I think is what it was called.
Yeah.
And when we got home, I looked at it and I'm like, oh, they're not too bad. They're kind of in like the $15,000-$20,000 range.
Yeah.
And then you're like, is that Canadian? I'm like, oh, no, it's actually out of Oregon. So
I found a Canadian one that was, I mean, they're about like 40.
Yeah, I would think it would be around there. I mean, a wall tent is 5,000 to 10,000, depending on how fancy you get. So you start getting into like plank floors and timber frames and all these things, and it starts to add up. Counters
the wood stove and
it's like a little house.
Yeah.
But they are cool.
Yeah, very cool.
And it was on like a little, I want to say delta, but it was kind of like there was like a reeds all out front. So it was kind of right where you would want to fish anyway. So you didn't really have to go far. If somebody was getting dinner ready or people wanted to chill out, then one person can just go rip around the corner, throw a line in for 20 minutes and come back, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It was kind of a perfect location for that. Super private. There's nobody around. You don't, have to lock your doors. Your dog Earl was running around. It was like,
having the time of his life. Nice. You don't even have to think about him. You just go do whatever you want, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and relatively easy to set up too. Like we had all the necessities plus some. Brought generator and stuff in case we needed
lots
it.
Of stuff. Yeah.
But it was perfect. And then I think we went out that first night.
We did. Yeah. We were out because the days are so long. I think we were out until about like 10 o'clock or something, man. It was late.
Yeah.
Maybe not that late, but
we lost
close
late
too. Yeah. Actually, I could probably check. I took a photo of the sunset that night, but it was close to 10 o'clock, I think, before we came in.
And it was actually calm that night, which wasn't the case for the following ones. But
no.
Yeah, it was like nice and calm. Water was glass. I believe they had a couple bites. What we started with was a lot of trolling.
Right.
Putting some leeches on, maybe some dragonfly nymphs or mayfly nymphs and stuff like that, and just kind of dragging stuff around, shrimp. I remember they said, they probably had a bite each, nothing in the boat. And then I can't remember if you or I had any bites trolling.
You and I were more like trolling on our way to where we were going to go and anchor.
Yeah, right.
Which I kind of like. It's kind of cool that you can do that. Like,
just kind of sit there.
Both. Yeah.
And trolling with an electric.
Exactly. We're using an electric motor, so we're not getting there fast anyway. So you might as well throw out a leech and then drag it to wherever you're going.
Yeah. It is fun. It's relaxing with the electric motor like that on a lake like that.
It's like there's no noise. It's just it's very nice.
I should note that I had tried chironomid fishing in the past without much success. And I just don't think I really got into the details of the setup much. Like it's quite easy. It's basically a bobber with a worm on the bottom, but the worm is a imitation of a pupa bug that's kind of like rising from the bottom of the lake to the surface and then it hatches. So essentially it's worm and bobber fishing on a fly rod. But back when I tried it originally, like I didn't have my depth finder with me. So I would like clip my clamps on the line and just lower it down until it hit the bottom. And then I kind of mark it. And then I'll put the bobber a foot below that. And then like I was getting caught up in the weeds and it was windy and this was a different lake I was at. And then I tried it for a bit and I was like, whatever, I'm just going to go back to trolling. I always wanted to go back and like commit to it.
Right.
So before we went on this trip, I thought, okay, I'm going to make sure I have the right leader. So go back to my resource and Brian Chan and there's tons of videos and stuff that he does.
Right.
And like he said, get a 12-foot leader. You can get still water leaders where they taper really quickly. So it's like 2 feet of taper instead of 4 or 5 feet of taper.
Right.
So that it doesn't like arc. It doesn't spend like 5 feet arcing before it goes straight down.
Right.
And then you know how deep you actually are. So I got one of those. And then he said, okay, well, tie that to some tippet, 18, 24 inches, tie that to a little swivel, like a size 12 swivel, and then tie a little bit more tippet after that. And then you're pretty much dealing with, 15 feet a leader at that point, if not a little more. And you've got a little bit of weight there to kind of help it sink straight down and your leader is the right one. So I figured I'm just going to rig all that up before we leave, and I'm not going to deviate from that. Even if we're trolling, I'm just going to huck it on the bottom, and the indicator is going to float on the top. I don't care. I'm just committing to it, you know?
Yeah.
And every time we anchored down, I think it was that first night I anchored down, I threw a Chronomid out there, got a bite first night.
Yeah.
The indicator just disappeared. I yanked on it. The fish popped off.
Right.
But I was like, okay, this is promising. And it seems like everybody's doing that out there. Like whenever I go to these lakes, 80% of people are Chronomid fishing.
Right.
So I'm thinking there's something to this. So you just got to stick to it. So that was my focus the whole time. But yeah, good. We had a good omen the first night.
For sure.
And then the next day, I believe.
Should mention, I brought the Hilleberg because I'm a light sleeper. I'm like, does anybody snore? I knew that Randy did because I think I remember your dad or both of them just busting each other's balls about snoring when we were on the moose trip because they were in the
in the camper.
The camper, yeah. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna bring the Hilleberg. And like, worst case scenario, it'll just look cool. I may or may not use it, but I ended up sleeping in it the first night, and it was cold, man. It got down to like freezing because we got up. There was frost on the tent and on the deck, and
almost
Earl's
bit
water,
it as soon as we stepped out of the door onto the deck.
Earl's water dish had like an inch of ice on it.
Yeah,
because it was out on the deck. So I was actually freezing my balls off out there, and Earl was too. So he was like under the blankets with me, and I had brought an air mattress because we left Kelowna. It was like 30 degrees here. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm not gonna, bring my cold late season sleeping bag. I just brought like this cheap like Canadian Tire one I use in the summertime, and air mattress. But yeah, it was freaking cold.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first night.
I think it's because you're so close to the lake. Like that has to be it, eh?
Yeah,
like, it was cold, but
that little valley kind of comes down right down to like the yurt and opens up there. And I think there's actually probably a little creek bed there in this spring I noticed too. So
it's
just like funneling right down to where we were. But yeah, it was cold.
Yeah,
surprising for this time of year.
Yeah,
but the morning was pretty nice from what I remember.
Yeah.
Looked promising.
Yeah, I kind of have a hard time like figuring out what day 2 is versus day 3.
I know this was only a couple of days ago.
But like I think the mornings in general, like you're pretty safe to go out in the boat. I mean, unless it's a horrible day, right? Like the wind's calm. There's a bit of a wind tunnel in that area, and I'm probably in a lot of areas over there. So anytime in the morning, we try to get out there pretty early. I don't think we had a ton of action until later on. When would that have been? Well, we get out there pretty early, like 5, 6 in the morning.
Yeah, I feel like we were out there by 6:30 probably after we kind of made coffee and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think the plan was to focus on like anchoring and casting. We didn't really do any trolling.
Yeah, we went to the end of lake there.
Yeah.
Which was super nice location and also super
very
nice weather.
Yeah.
Maybe, that might also be a con sometimes, like if it's too nice and too bright.
I think it is, yeah.
Sometimes I wonder.
It feels good for the soul, but not so good for the fishing.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Also, so I guess short story on that morning, we spent a lot of time out there anchored.
Yeah.
Cronies, and you were more casting in general and retrieving at that point, not Chronomid fishing.
Yeah.
But maybe the fish knew that it was going to get insanely windy and messy that evening.
They might have, yeah. Because it didn't take long. But the perk of that morning, I think, for me was just like tying different stuff on because I was trying leeches and some different like dry flies and stuff like that. And it was like a perfect opportunity because it was pretty still. Like it didn't matter what side of the boat we were fishing off of. Like anyway was good. Yeah. And I think we saw a couple of guys lock into a fish or two. Not much though. There's a lot of boats out there.
Yeah.
Maybe we saw, but nobody got anything in the boat. I think might have just saw a few guys, get a bite and that was it. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I remember, and then we head in for a bit of a brunch, and we cooked up some eggs and bacon on the griddle.
Yeah.
Went back out there, fished around a bit more. I'm going to fast forward a bit. So like after lunch, things got windy in a hurry.
Yeah.
And it was like spurts. It would kind of, it's getting windy. Then it would die down a little bit. And it'd get more windy, and then it would die down a bit. And then it was like full blown wind for quite a while.
Yeah.
And then right before dinner, we'll chat about your dinners as well, because you're like a professional chef out there. But like, you're like, yeah, I'm just going to get some stuff ready. If any of you guys want to go out for a quick fish beforehand, that's cool.
Yeah. It got cold too. The temperature dropped. And yeah.
So like I'm watching this, and we're all kind of, you're out there to fish. So you get a bit antsy just sitting on the patio, like at least I did. I was kind of like driven to catch something out there.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm like looking out there. I'm like, okay, this is like hour 2, hour 3, goes by. Hour 4 goes by. I'm like, okay, I think the wind's dying down. So I go down to the little bay that we had our boats in by the yurt. And the wind actually had died down quite a bit at that point. By the time I untie the boat, get my electric motor down, and I just come out of the point, the wind is like raging again. And I'm like, oh, this isn't good. So I pin the electric motor, because all I wanted to do was kind of get around the bay, like where our yurt was, and kind of be on the other side that was a bit tucked away from the wind. And I figured as long as I could get over there, I could just wait it out, like it felt like a bit of a thermal push where wind, it would eventually die down. So as soon as I get exposed past the point that's on our side, the wind just catches I've got a 14-foot WC Lund boat. So I'm the only one. I'm sitting in the back, and like the front is kind of up. It just catches it like a kite.
Yeah.
And
if you had a little more weight up there, it might have helped. But
yeah, maybe. But like obviously the Minn Kota doesn't have enough thrust. But anyways, I get picked up like a kite basically, and it's just pushing me. And I'm like, oh God, I got the thing pinned. So I immediately put the electric motor up, and I'm like, I can do better with these oars. So I'm working to get the oars in. Meanwhile, I get pushed in like 30 feet into the reeds. So now I'm stuck in there. So I managed to, it was, relatively shallow. I could spent like a bit of time getting myself out of the reeds. I don't want to like damage anything in there, just being careful. And once I got out to a point where I could like actually put some muscle into it, I'm just giving her. Randy and my dad are having a nap in the yurt there, and they said all they could hear was like whacking from the oars on the side of the boat.
I was I was having a nap too, and I got up because I didn't know where Earl was. I'm like, what is he doing? He was down by the water, and he's like pacing back and forth. I'm like, that's weird. He must be worried because Kelly like left him behind. He did get to go fishing or whatever. And like, oh shit, Kelly's right in the reeds, and Earl's panicking because he's worried about you. Yeah,
and I'm panicking because I'm trying to get out of there. And then I see you, and I'm like, you're kind of smiling, and I'm like, it wasn't like a super serious, it wasn't a survival situation or anything. But then I see you walk away, and I'm like, oh, I wonder what he's thinking. Maybe he's got some brilliant idea, And then 10 minutes later,
I went and grabbed an apple.
You grabbed an apple, and you're looking at me just laughing in your apple. So I'm like, okay,
there's nothing I could do.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I got to bear down. I was like putting all my previous rowing exercises into this, and like finally got myself back into this bay. And I was like, oh man, that was a bad decision. So I get back to the patio, and I'm looking across, and like there were actually 2 boats on that side.
Yeah.
Which they were stuck away too. I didn't realize it, but like what we found out was they actually radioed over, and a boat with an outboard engine actually came to tow them out of there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're probably busy with your fish tacos there, but they actually had they had to get towed.
Oh,
they tied ropes there, and they pulled them around the point and drug them up the lake.
Oh,
so little lakes, but you can't forget that there is a safety component there with
for sure.
When the wind kicks up and you're underpowered.
Yeah.
I mean, worst case scenario, I would have been blown to the end of the lake we were at, and I would have just had to get out, leave the boat, and walk back to the yurt embarrassed, right? But
I bet it happens all the time there, to be honest.
Yeah. So it was a lot of wind.
Yeah.
And then
everyone's using electric.
Yeah, exactly. So lesson learned was, I need to find these lakes are all motor restricted. So if I could find an old like 80s or 90s 2-stroke just to bring on these little fly fishing trips, much safer.
Even if you had both, because like we were saying, it's nice to have the electric because it's quiet. But if you need the gas to get you out of a situation like that, then it's nice to just kick that down and switch between the two of them. Yeah.
I would definitely put both on.
Yeah.
But so got back, arms sore, oars have like burn marks on them because I was like rowing so hard.
You were giving her, I was impressed.
Yeah. And then I got back there. Everyone's like, what the hell was that? I'm like, yeah, long story, like I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Stuck in the reeds. But
the weather got worse and worse from that point.
Yeah. Although the food got better and better because
so it actually did eventually calm down, not too, I don't know, I want to say it was maybe around 4:00, and you and Randy and Wayne all went back out in separate boats there. And I decided to hang back and cook dinner, but you guys were able to go out there, and you and I were scoping out that spot straight across the lake. There was kind of like a little bay that was hidden. Is that where you went? Where we ended up doing most of our fishing for the rest of the...
Yeah, I think my dad and I went out in the boat together just for a bit, and I kind of showed him about the Chronomid thing. And,
right.
No bites at that point. But
yeah. But yeah, I did some cooking, and I got the wood stove going because like those guys are going to be cold because the wind was still chilly and that. So I'm like, we were joking like, oh, it'd be nice if we could use that wood stove. When we got there, it was hot and warm. We thought there would be no way we'd be using that wood stove, but I fired that thing up. I think everybody was happy to see it.
At that point, I think we used it for the whole trip.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And then, you made some awesome fish tacos that looked like they were straight out of a restaurant. And
those were good.
All the fixins.
Yeah.
Pickled jalapenos and what was it? Onions or cabbage or
both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pickled them all together. Yeah.
Nice. Some chipotle mayo and
mayo. Yeah. Beer battered fish and those were
cooked there.
Were good.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And then it got very cold.
Yeah.
You actually stuck it out for another night in the tent.
I did.
And you tried to bring Earl in there with you. And I think he pretty much bailed on you because you opened the door and said, can he sleep in here with you?
Yeah. He's looking at me like, no way, I'm not going to that tent, which like those dogs like to stick close to you. But so for him to be like, no, I'm not going out there. It's like a pretty big move.
We had the stove going all night too. So he was like, no way. He was actually shivering in the yurt too.
He gets cold. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wrapped him up in I've got this old Hudson Bay blanket that my grandpa used to use.
He loved that thing.
Yeah. So I wrapped him up in that and he was good. Next morning, had a bit of success and, nice weather again too.
Yeah.
So we went over to that little bay on the opposite side of the yurt. And I think both of us at that point you'd kind of said, I want to do some Chronomid fishing too. So we'll hit them from both sides of the boat.
Yeah. It seemed like the only success we were having, you were having, the only bites.
Yeah.
And even from some of the guys that we're talking to was Chronomids, and there was a big hatch happening both days there.
Yeah. I was seeing shucks in the water kind of floating around. So we set you up, kind of toss bobbers out both sides of the boat. The cool thing is you can be as proficient or not as you want. Really, you could drop a bobber off the side of the boat if you're fishing 12, 15 feet down and the fish aren't likely gonna mind. But we were doing that for maybe an hour or two. And then,
for sure.
And then there's that little boat, another John boat, but two guys kind of facing us, and they're drifting past us with this little motor. They wanted to fish near us.
Yeah, they're pretty close by.
Yeah, they're 20 or 30 feet away from us.
25, 30 feet.
They're like, hey, morning, guys. I'm standing on a bench there with my line in the water. I'm like, hey, how's it going? They're like, good. I'm like, any luck? As soon as I said luck, my rod bends in half. And I'm like, oh, holy shit. So I start stripping this thing. And then right away, the fish jumps out of the water. And I'm like, oh, man, that's like a 3-4 pounder, it
nice
felt
fish.
Like a solid fish. And he was
fat.
fighting.
Yeah.
And then those guys are like, they're basically front seat in the theater, right? They're like, whoa. So I'm reeling this thing in, it jumps again, reeling it in, it jumps again. And then I noticed that the indicator on my line wasn't popped off.
Right.
So I'm like, oh man, I don't know how this is going to work because I've got like, 12, 15 feet of leader after that thing. Like there's no way that I'm going to be able to reel it in close enough and get it into a net. So when it jumped again, I kind of like gave it a yank and hoped that I would have popped the pin on that quick release indicator.
Yeah.
And what happened was the leader, right where that indicator was, immediately snapped in half and the fish was gone.
Yeah. Bummer.
And then those guys were like, they're like, everybody's kind of like, oh.
The whole lake knew that you had a fish on.
Yeah. It was clapping around. Sounded like a beaver going nuts.
Yeah.
But it was kind of silent there for a few seconds. And then those two guys were like, well, that was exciting.
Yeah.
And that they were good. They seemed like good guys, actually. And then they kind of like pulled over 50 yards away from us and dropped anchor there. And he had a fish on like 10 minutes later.
Yeah. Yeah. Thought it was on at that point.
Yeah. So, we thought we had figured something out at that point, which I think we did. But quieted down again a little bit. And kind of did our routine and going back in for some brunch and stuff after that. How did you find your first experience with chronomids and indicators?
I like it, man. Like the thing is, like, I don't know if you worry about it, but I know it's probably something on your mind. Like I get bored easy.
Yeah.
Like, so I like trolling and it's effective, but like I can only do that for like a day. Like I like going out on Okanagan Lake with you and doing that. But like, as long as I have something to do, like if I'm casting and
retrieving and stuff.
Yeah. Like I'm fully into it. And, especially when you're trying to like improve and get better at it. So it's like, it's kind of like playing a game. You're just like constantly trying to like up your score a little bit. And then, the wind was still kind of active that day too. So we were dealing with a bit of that and trying to figure out the best ways to work around each other in the boat. And so there's always something to sort of keep you in the game a little bit and mentally like active. And so it's cool, man. I liked it.
Yeah.
And I just felt like everything we were doing was like, okay, this is all just like good practice.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like when we used to play on in a band and like we play on a Thursday night and there's nobody there. It's like paid rehearsal. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if nothing's going on.
Yeah.
You're still like getting something out of it. So
totally.
Yeah.
And like we said when we were there, we were looking around. Nobody else was killing it.
Yeah,
so
it wasn't just us.
Yeah, there's no real reason for us. I mean, the fact that we had some bites and a fish on was almost like the jackpot compared to what we were seeing elsewhere. So
yeah, for sure.
You kind of have to keep the perspective of like, we're not catching a ton of fish, but like relatively, we might actually be a little more ahead of the game. And I was almost wondering if that lake was turned over or turning over when we got there.
I think it was because it reminded me of my cabin, and that lake would turn over, and it was very obvious when it
like did. Super murky and crap floating around in the water.
It doesn't look like you want to swim in it.
Yeah,
when it turns over like that.
Yeah. So I kind of personally, I think it was turning over. I'm not an expert, but I think that could be a reason why it was so tough for everybody.
Well, we had talked to somebody before we went up there at Trout, the fly shop here in Kelowna, and he was saying, "Oh man, it's been great up there." So we kind of had high expectations.
Yeah.
So it sounded like things were going well. So obviously something could be weather, could be lake, but it seemed like the lake had probably flipped at that point.
Yeah,
I think
I agree. Which makes things tough. But not much action after that. I don't think. I think Randy and my dad there were still kind of searching and maybe had a bite or two on the leeches and whatever else was getting dragged around, but
a couple of sticks.
Couple of sticks, not a ton of action. And then we went back in. I just can't say enough about the environment and the just staying in that place, like
awesome.
It just such a good reset button and relaxing.
Yeah.
And then you had another excellent dinner there, which was mac and cheese with prawns.
Yeah, I like to do lobster mac and cheese, but I think the lobster is like more of a fall thing because I did that when we did our moose trip.
Yeah.
So I did shrimp this time and it was good.
Yeah. And I think we also had, this would have been the first night, but we had my mother-in-law.
Lenny lasagna.
Yeah, we had some lasagna. Like we eat so good when we're out there. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I always feel like we have to run a marathon or something when we get back.
I did some running and stuff while I was there. I felt like I had to.
That. Yeah. So yeah, that was awesome. And then we went out again that evening, which was, I think, one of the highlights of the trip. Well, and
Yeah.
for me anyways, mostly because we were all kind of dialed in on the Chronomed side at that point. It was the only successful thing that was happening. And we kind of set up in those same spots, but there was no wind, the water was glass.
Yeah.
And I noticed there was hundreds of swallows circling
all
that
over.
whole
Yeah.
bay.
There's a hatch.
And it's like, there's something going on here. So then we noticed, especially as twilight happened, you could kind of like the water looked black at that point.
Yeah.
But you could see all these hatches coming up off the lake. And with the light hit it right, it almost looked like it was snowing, but in reverse. Like there was just all these white kind of bug fluffs coming up.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of other boats, kind of like 3 or 4 in a line, all along those reeds that were casting. And, you know, it looked like it was almost out of a movie, like kind of a golden color, you know. And I was like, oh man, this is what it's all about. Like this looks like a photo, you know, like
we got some good photos too. Yeah.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden all the fish start rising. And then you could tell like, oh, we're sitting in the middle of a full blown Chronomid hatch right now.
Yeah.
So, we got Chronomids out there again. I got another one on and actually got them to the boat, which was really fun too. And, maybe we could put a video or something on the Instagram. We committed to like, if one of us gets a fish on, the other person, like they're basically on their own. You're netting it, you're reeling it in. The other person will snap a photo or take a video, right?
Yeah.
So I think that was a good call. But
we started on the opposite side of the lake. And it was sort of me pushing to move to the other side because it got cold and I didn't bring enough like warm clothes. I'm like, let's go over to the other side where the sun is.
Where the sun is.
Yeah.
And then we hesitated so long that by the time we got there, the sun disappeared.
It was already like we were right on the edge of it and it was disappearing. But it ended up being the right call. And the other thing too was like everybody was at the far end of the lake. We were sort of on the edges of it, not quite there. And that was another piece of advice we got was like, don't go where everybody is. It's tempting because like, okay, well, everybody's at the end of the lake. We should go there, but we kind of stuck, a little bit further up from the end of the lake.
Yeah.
So we did that and we're actually like right in front of the yurt, not far from it anyways.
Right.
And it just seemed like a good spot to be. And we were seeing lots of stuff rising and there was all around the boat and just trying to cast out to them, and finally you hooked into that one.
Yeah, it's so exciting when the indicator disappears, and like it's a lot different than normal fishing because like you've got one hand where you're kind of supporting the rod, and you strike and shoot the rod up, and immediately it's just you can feel everything with those rods. But and it's also funny because it's so quiet out there that as soon as one person gets a fish on, the whole side of the lake knows, and then you feel like everyone's watching it. Like it's kind of like golf in a way, where you're teeing off on hole number 1 and you're just like, don't screw this up.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what it felt like with that one fish and those 2 guys watching. But it's relieving when you actually get it to the boat too.
Yeah.
But you made a good call going to the other side, and I think you were thinking like a fish at that point. You kind of got to go with what it's telling you,
Mm-hmm.
But that was a super cool night. Randy and my dad were anchored down just a little ways away from us, so it's good quality time spent. And,
for sure. Lots of laughs and
we could hear, we're basically talking to each other, and the sound travels, so
you can hear the full conversation.
You can hear everything, and you can chat and, hey, what's working, what's not, any bites, all that kind of stuff. So it keeps it kind of like intimate, even though you're on different boats. Pretty tough to do that on a big lake with big boats.
Yeah. I like the fishing environment because everybody is in close proximity to people you know and don't know, right? And so it's like, hey, you guys have any luck? What are you using? Like everyone's happy to like share information and stuff, which is cool, where the hunting's a little bit different. Like,
it's like
you see anything? You're like, nope, didn't see shit. Even though you might have seen some animals, right? Everybody's keeping it secret, but like fishing's a different story where it's like,
there's like 30 black bears in there.
Yeah.
That's it.
So the environment is kind of cool in that sense. And But yeah, I think we were all relieved that you caught a fish.
Somebody did.
In general, everybody on the lake was having this, like nobody was really catching much. We saw a few guys, maybe a couple guys get fish in the boat, but like it was definitely kind of a off weekend there. And I think we all felt like accomplished with the one small fish that you caught. That's all we really needed to feel like we succeeded. And I was happy with that. So back to the yurt we went.
At that point, I think we were all just a team trying to get a fish, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But and then back to the yurt, another amazing dinner. I think we ended up playing crib with you, and
we were playing Crazy Eights that night. We were up until like, I think it was like 1 o'clock. I couldn't believe we stayed up that late, drinking old fashions and drinking wine and
had the wood stove going.
I can't remember who finally said, "What time is it?" And you're like, it's like 12:45. What?
Well, it's nice and cozy with the stove and everything.
That's fun, man.
Like, you know. And then, other than that, I mean, I was just learning from the wind. I was just hoping the next morning, you know, I knew you had to take the boat back, and I was like, I just hope it's a calm morning because we're never going to get this boat back over there.
Yeah.
With this little motor on there.
Yeah.
So, a note again that I have to look for a used, reasonable motor to stick on that thing for our next fly fishing adventure. But, that cedar shower is awesome too. Like it kind of has a view of the lake. So when you're in there,
it's
and
unreal.
It's cold, the steam's kind of coming out. It smells like cedar. You feel like you're in Finland or something.
Totally. I took a way longer shower than I normally do. I was just standing there, just enjoying it.
I
love that smell of cedar.
Yeah.
Like, and then just like, blue skies and like, we were like, it was like the Shire out there. It was all green and
felt like a hobbit.
Yeah.
A hobbit.
But that was it. We talked about trying to do some fishing, but we decided we should pack up, and your dad and them left early. So it was kind of up to us to have the yurt all cleaned up and ready. It's a good thing we didn't go fishing because we would have been late checking out.
It's good to note. Unless you pack up a bunch of stuff the night before.
Yeah.
It's kind of a write-off that checkout morning.
I should mention I abandoned the Hilleberg on the last night. I packed it up because it was always really wet in the morning too. Once all that frost, thawed out, it was just wet. So I'm like, I'm not putting a wet tent away because you know how that goes. You got to take it out when you get home and all that. And I mean, I just didn't want to be cold again. So there's that part of it too.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you guys heard me, but I got up and I was messing with the fire a couple times throughout the night there to keep it going. But the yurt stayed nice and toasty all night long there.
Yeah. I think I did hear you, but I can't. I was pretty out of it. But I did not realize that the fact that it was warm in the morning, I knew that somebody had got up and did it. It's nice and toasty because the first couple nights, we tossed a bunch of wood in there, but I don't know at what time it all disappears. What time do you think you got up?
Oh, geez. I don't know. I was kind of cross-eyed from all the whiskey, but it was probably like we were trying to figure out that stove. It was kind of the first night that we used it was working well, and then we couldn't get it dialed in to like burn slow.
Right.
So the first time I got up, so we had there's only one control on it for airflow. And it's basically, there was a dial and it's like hot, cold is all it said on it.
Yeah.
So the first day we used it, I got it going. I cranked it open, got it to 6 or whatever, and then you crank it back to 2, and it burns nice and slow. I think we had it 2.5 when we went to bed there, and then I got up and it was just smoldering. All that wood we had put in there was actually still in there, so I opened it up a little bit more. That was probably at 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever, and then I think I got up again at 5 and threw some more on there or whatever, but. So that thing was kind of weird, but
interesting.
Yeah, got to get to know those wood stoves a bit.
Yeah, they're cool though.
Mm-hmm.
Won't be the last time I go there.
I'd like to stay up there for 5 nights. I think would be sweet.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah. Definitely catch a fish then.
Yeah, for sure.
More than one.
Timing is everything, man. Like you said, it's a lot like
hunting.
It's right place, right time, and
Cool.
sometimes there's nothing you can do to
Yeah.
make it work.
Yeah, it's kind of, the thing I always battle with too is like, do you change something and are you doing it for a reason, or are you staying with the plan and are you doing that for a reason?
Right.
Or is it somewhere in between, or, and I think, we did a pretty good job of executing it based on not really having a reason to change, and only signals we got was to kind of stay the course.
Yeah.
So
it is nice when you have two people, because at least one guy can be throwing different shit out.
yeah, right.
Right. Because it starts to mess with you. Even if it's not your fault, it's like, okay, if I'm committed to a Chronomid, but I'm not getting any bites.
Yeah.
At least Mike's throwing out all kinds of shit.
Yeah. You can end
And he's
up
not
chasing
getting
your
anything
tail
either, but we got one bite on a Chronomid. So let's keep, with that, and ended up working for us. So,
and then the swallows and the noticing of the hatch and the shucks, like it was probably the first time where I think we felt like we were actually reading something.
Yeah, I think,
cool.
the bird thing was interesting, because like when I went fishing on the East Coast in Jersey and New York with Joe there, it was all about the birds. You're watching for birds.
Yeah.
And those indicated where all the bunker fish were and where they're all feeding, right? So it's like learning all of those types of things is like, hey, you watch. It's not like the species that you're looking for isn't always the indicator. It's the other thing that might be the indicator that something is happening. So
yeah,
like being in tune with everything that's going on around you is like, I mean, that's why I like fly fishing so much, because it's more than just dragging there's definitely more strategy and intuition that goes into it. That's cool. I like it.
You know what it feels like to me? Those, when we were growing up, you could buy those pictures or paintings where you look at it and it would just look like a mess of patterns. But then the more you
3D
stared
ones?
at it, it would go 3D.
Yeah.
That's kind of what fly fishing feels like to me. Because even when we were launching the boat the first morning, we were just launching the boat. But then I actually looked at my feet, and there's like thousands of little nymphs swimming around. They were all green.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then when I was pulling up the anchor on the one spot, which was really weedy, as opposed to complete clay mud on the other side, which was a hint in itself.
Yeah.
It's like, because I think the mud is where the Chronomid's like. But I pulled up that anchor, I brushed off the weeds, and there was like 50 gray little shrimp swimming around on the top of my anchor. So it's like the more you start paying attention, it kind of goes 3D on you. And then you're like, oh, I can actually, you might not be able to dial it right in, but at least you don't feel like you're completely guessing,
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, it was cool. Learned a lot.
I like it. I think I might be becoming a fisherman again.
Nice.
In my second life here.
Well, yeah, let's put a plan together. And you know what the cool thing is too, around where we live, is as it gets super hot, it gets very difficult to kind of do anything at these lower elevations. But a lot of these lakes are super high up there. They're like 4,000 or 5,000 feet, and it can cool down. And even their insect hatches timetables shift.
For sure.
So there's always something to do up there too. So it's a good summer activity.
For sure. I agree. Yeah, let's do more.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll keep folks posted on that progress.
Yeah.
But
again, thanks to your dad and to Randy for doing that, man. That was a memorable experience and like a pretty cool way to celebrate being 40. And it's this whole rookie hunter thing is all centered around bringing people together, bringing family together and friends and stuff like that. And doing this kind of shit is important. And it's these are the trips you remember.
Totally.
Even if you caught one small fish, it's everything else that makes it, right? So it was awesome. And hopefully we get the Moose crew back again in the fall in October.
Yeah, man. Cheers to
that.
That
happens. Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Well, yeah, it was fun. We'll have to do it again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. There you go. Episode 179.
fishing episode for you. Kelly mentioned the Brian Chan episode, and I'm going to go back into the archives. I'm going to pull that one out. I'm going to repost it, so you can expect that one early next week. Figure we'll keep the fishing train rolling here a little bit more while we're in the off season, but hunting season is not that far away, so lots of things to look forward to, but going to enjoy the summer in the meantime. But that's it. We'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.